Good. Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, first order of business. I really want to thank Brian Skorlik amongst other people, but not only did we have the reforestation of Unionville program on
Good.
November
Okay,
5th,
great.
which
Thank you very
Josh
much.
Redinger is going to talk about. All right,
Hang
first
on.
order of
Let me
business. I
just
really want
freeze this
to
thing.
thank which Josh will talk about, but also Brian Skorlik brought his hydro seeder over here and he went all around
Yeah,
the
I saw
park.
that.
You
Very
see the
nice.
grass is already growing.
Yeah,
He's just does a fantastic job. He supplied us with those trees through his efforts, the reforestation trees. He always gets an order from us and then he goes and picks them up and brings them
Yeah.
here. And he loves the program, and which Josh is going to explain to everybody. So I think that's a wonderful thing, but he does a lot for the town. And we really want to say thank you to Brian Skorlik for being such a just being, I know he helps other towns as well, but it feels like we're his favorite and we appreciate it.
oh, we better be his favorite. He lives here.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, Andrea, I can't get it back to where it's supposed to be. Wait a minute. There we go. I can't wait till these days are over. It's coming soon. Okay. I also want to thank Jake Gosnell, our parks manager, Tom St. Ange, Adam, and Vincent, who work the team from the parks. And we're going to talk about this room in a few minutes after we talk about financials and things. But they did this has been a while in coming, getting the room up and ready. We're not quite there yet. We'll be ready probably next week. But for the next meeting, our last meeting of the year, that we're going to be in great shape. But they did a beautiful job hanging all these cameras. We have 4 cameras. And they put the wires behind the wall. The place looks great. And we're just really thrilled with you just go to a lot of trouble. We appreciate the work you do. It's just beautiful. I think it looks great. It wasn't what we expected. As a matter of fact, the guy that sold some of the stuff to us was saying, oh, you're going to use the conduits down the wall and all that. And Jake said, no, we don't have to do that. And it looks beautiful. So thanks very much.
Yeah, but there's no conduit sticking out of the walls.
Wouldn't that be awful? But I also think that when we when we get rid of these computers, which will be for the December meeting, no more laptops for the board members. It will have Zoom on the big screen so people can see which one they decide which one they want to look at. It'll just be smoother and we won't have the live issue and all that. So, but thanks guys for doing such a beautiful job. This month, I want to make sure everybody knows everybody, I'd say 95, 97% of the employees took the PESH training. So we're all done there. Anybody that hasn't, I know a couple of board members have signed up for the webinars online, but even the recycling guys are taking it. We'll be done by the end of the year, it seems like, which is great. But we had a big bunch in here for the group session, which I think makes it easy to get it over with, including Ed and the highway guys and everybody. This month, we've done a lot this month with insurance. We've done our liability insurance, our workers' comp. Our rates went down, which is one of the things we're going to talk about during the budget discussion. But also we had our health insurance annual discussion and enrollment. And this year, we offered the employees a vision program or a dental program at no cost to the employees. I know we talked about this in the work session. Doesn't cost the employer anything, but the employees analyzed the program and felt like it was really beneficial. And I think most of them signed up for vision and a lot signed up for the dental program. So we offered something new and I think people were really pleased with it, which is a nice add-on for us. The other thing that happened this month that we're in pretty good shape on, but we haven't buttoned up everything, is there was a webinar that the Association of Towns put out about the First Amendment audit people that come around and come in with their cameras going and stick it in the face of the town clerk or whoever they can get in front of and try to make them deny them something, And so they just basically told us what we have to do to keep people out of offices in certain places. I don't think, everybody here is so nice. I don't think that anybody would get offended and stick a camera in their face and put it on YouTube later. But if they do, I'm sure that the results would be very nice and be fine. But at least now we know how to handle it. And when these people come in, because they are looking to push some buttons and get somebody angry. This month, we've also met some new Conservation Advisory Council members that are going to be joining. As a matter of fact, they're coming. All of them are coming to the work session on December 7th. So you can meet the few new ones that are coming on board for our org meeting in January. So that'll be nice. We'll get to chat with them a little bit. So it's some very impressive people have joined the CAC, which is wonderful. the biggest thing going on, and then I'll get to the financials, the biggest thing that has been going on in the town board's life, I'll have to say, and the planning board's life is the moratorium that we've imposed on the town center zone changes, which are unbelievably detailed and, just takes lots and lots of time to get everything taken care of. We're almost finished. We put on the agenda for tonight and then we pulled it off the agenda to pass the resolution of introduction. We're not quite finished. There were a couple of things about the resolution that weren't exactly right. And there's some more buttoning up that we need to do. So early next week on Monday evening at 6:15, if it hasn't been noticed already, it will be noticed. We're going to have our very short meeting to pass the resolution of introduction for the public hearing that will be held on December 21st, the night of our meeting, our last meeting of the year. So then we will, post all the information. People have time to look at it and all that. So I think it'll be fine. But it's been a huge project with a wonderful working group. A lot of late nights, but because people at work, have to talk on the phone at night, and we've been here till 9 on a lot of nights, but it's getting done. And it's exhausting, but we're almost there. As far as financials go, we're in very good shape for the end of the year. Through October, we were at 113% of our revenue goals, 13% over our revenue goals, and 95% of our expense goals. So we're underspending. We did get the FEMA check in October. We also got the full year's rent and the pilot from the solar developer.
Oh, good.
So that was a good check at one time. So that's why we're at 13%. I think last month we were over budget by 8% in revenue goals this year, but they bumped it. this month they bumped us up to 13.
Did you get
So
the fire district check yet?
we did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Not our biggest check, but it's our favorite.
Good. Okay.
I know it's Jake's very excited because that's some revenue coming into that line, which is
Yeah.
exciting. And you guys always pay us right November before it all starts, which
Well,
is
that's good.
yeah, which is wonderful. So anyway, we're doing well there. As far as cash balances, there in the general fund, there's $3,040,057, and in the highway fund, there's $581,119. So cumulatively $3.6 million in cash. And well, when I say cash, I mean liquid,
Yeah.
but that also means in our
Accessible.
it's in our investment accounts, which are primarily in treasuries. All right. And I think, as far as we're going to talk about the budget. I think we put it down later in new business because tonight's the night we adopt it. But so I've got more information to go over there. So at this point, I think we should just switch it around and I'll go to board member reports. Councilman Welsh, did you want to report anything?
I've been very aggressively reviewing all the data for the zoning update for the town center area and trying to keep up with all the
It's a lot of changes.
changes,
Yeah.
and improvements.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much for doing that. You're on our working group, which is great, which is helpful because you hear a lot. Councilman McGivney?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman Derlin?
Sure. I
Sorry.
think just what John said, I think everybody's kind of working on the zoning change right now. I'm thankful the budget's done.
Thank you for the budget, Stan, and the zone, you've been really helpful with your comments on those zoning changes, so thank you. We appreciate those many years you had on the planning board. It helps.
Yes, paid off for us.
Yeah,
Many
even if
times.
it's a 30-second phone call, blah, 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 Kevin's got the answer, which is great. Thank you. All right, Councilman Gusikoff, we didn't take roll, but you'll note that he's out tonight on a pre-planned trip. Town Highway Superintendent, Mr. Ed Kading, would you like to report now?
Not much to report. We are as snow ready as we can be. We do have new residents that are a little bit of a nuisance over on Cutler. There are beavers that seem to want to keep damming up the creek, so we keep taking out their dam.
There we go.
Guys will be working on tree removal in between snowstorms. We're looking at a drainage plan for Hoofprint Road so that we can do a renovation on Hoofprint this spring or summer. Something that I think the board needs to address at some point, and I don't even know that it's your jurisdiction, but I'm getting a lot of complaints this summer about the lawn maintenance companies that are parking on our roads. that
Oh, yeah,
really
that
aren't
is very-
set for that.
Unsafe.
It's pretty unsafe and it's kind of a nuisance for the residents.
Mhm.
I just don't know how to address it. I'm sure I don't have jurisdiction over writing a ticket to somebody
Yeah.
or even kicking them off the road. But I think it's something that we should be looking at.
Yeah.
I just don't know how.
They don't pull into the driveways.
Oh, absolutely
No,
not. They
No,
just
they
stop
park
on
on
the
the side
road.
of the road.
They're often very dangerous and very.
Oh,
bad
Yeah.
that
locations.
calls on that too.
I
know
know
you-
Brush Hill is a road that they're always seem to
South
be in the
Smith.
way on.
They even have this on Cutler.
Yeah,
One lane road, they park right in the road.
They're on Clove. That guy has a driveway and they just park right
Yeah.
out there.
Well,
Right.
sometimes we have a trail, they don't want to back in.
Right. or they can't back in.
Yeah, they're in a house.
Oh, it's because they have a trail.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know what we can do as a town, but I think it's something we ought to look at. or look
Yeah.
into.
I wouldn't mind seeing constables writing parking tickets.
Exactly, okay. All right, we'll take note of that. We'll
Maybe
take
Jim
note of-
can do a dual road, a dual role for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He already is,
We
actually.
do have a new hire. He's one of the town constables in the highway department now, so.
He's got a lot of experience on highway stuff too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. I guess the other big news is we have two new to us plow trucks. We bought them through the county highway. They came from the Dutchess County Airport. They're a bit older, but they're non-computerized, which is, in my
They're
opinion,
fixable.
good. And they are in really good shape. We are modifying one right now to actually fit our needs. So we're pretty excited about those two trucks.
That was great. Good, good.
Yeah, that was great work getting those trucks.
Yeah, they were, well, they're
Well, that-
relatively inexpensive for us.
They were really expensive, but one of them looked brand new.
Yeah.
The one, I guess they had it indoors all those years.
Yeah, it was inside, and being at the airport, they don't use any salt or sand. So it was, yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was a
it's
good.
general use,
That's
Yeah.
great.
kept indoors.
Wonderful. All right, thanks so
So
much.
that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Superintendent. Okay, town clerk report.
Okay. Aside from all of our other busy day-to-day operations, the 2023 recycling center permits should be on sale sometime in December. So we're just waiting, I think, on, any pricing changes,
I think we should sell them now.
We're ready to go? Okay.
We're ready. I mean, yeah, we can't, I don't think we can wait because I was looking at the numbers and they're behind where they were last year.
Mhm.
There isn't any reason to wait. If we have price adjustments because of what some of our vendors are telling us.
Right, I
we're
know
just
you
gonna have to
said.
post them as we come.
Okay,
It won't be
yeah,
on the
so-
permit.
Right.
So the permit should be out there. Yeah, feel
Okay, we
free.
are ready to go, so.
Oh, good.
I'll
And
open
everybody
it up
loves the
tomorrow.
colors.
Yeah.
What is it like?
Oh, the colors.
The colors of the permits.
They are salmon and mint green.
Yeah. So
You won't lose them. Sure.
they won't lose them and the women love them. So, no, that's great. Thank you for getting those done. Okay. Public comments on agenda items? Okay. We're going to switch over now to board and our committee and council reports. Mr. Redinger, are you representing the CAC tonight? We'd love to have you come on up. Yeah, right. Usually right at the end here. Thank you, Andrea. See, that's what this camera's for. It's not just
I gotcha.
so we can see Alfreda. It's really for the speaker.
So the CAC, in conjunction with the Girl Scouts, we did the reforestation of Timor, or we started that on November 5th. We did not get as many trees as we initially had hoped for. Looks like the drought in the summer combined with the rain late in the year and the hot weather kind of set them into dormancy late. So I'm not sure if there's any updates on when the rest of those trees are going to be
No,
able to come down.
actually, let me, that we got it,
Okay.
the 115. We got them wasn't it like a month late?
Yeah.
So we didn't have the date, we had a date published October 15th and then the trees didn't come because of the lack of the dormancy,
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
So,
Yeah, but we got the right number and I think Jake may be talking about a little bit about what they're going to do with some of them.
okay.
Okay,
Awesome.
so, but
But yeah, so at Timor, we went on the 5th, Saturday the 5th, and everybody did a pretty great job. They they were good trees to replace the trees that had died. So basically what's happened there, Emerald Ash Borer has absolutely slayed every large tree that's been along the main river down there. And by the time that thing gets to the tree, it was too late. Like you can't protect them. So they're all gone and they're all going to die throughout the county. It's pretty sad. So I was pleased to see that the trees were red maple, they're black cherry, and some river birch, and those are trees that can stabilize the riverbank. And you know, they'll be a little bit easier for the deer herbivore. They won't get ripped apart as much as some other species. So it was a good
Oh,
pick
good.
there. And
Good.
yeah, it's necessary to keep putting them up there because there's going to be erosion issues along where those dead ashes are along that river if we don't
Okay.
continue the reforestation. So
Great.
as long as we do, you know, we're in good shape. So
Yeah, and, some people called about the reforestation, and so I thought it would, we should make sure they know that, the request for the donations could be a year-round thing. I think that,
Yes.
Julia started the $5 a tree. She called the Trees for Time More, $5 a tree. So we're still, but that can happen. A couple of people called and they thought, oh, I missed the donation period. It's going to keep going, around the year, and then every, fall we'll buy the same, whatever number we have to buy, but the donation window is always open. It just, Andrea, who do you make the checks out to? Trees for Time or in the memo section?
Yeah.
Town of Unionville. Yeah, and then we put them in the donation. a
yeah,
separate-
but it's going to be needed because no matter what we do, the ashes, which are a big part of like Clove Valley's ecosystem, they're going to continue
Yeah.
going, and there's nothing we can do about it. And it's going to create a lot of issues. Obviously on the highways, they're going to, once they get brittle, they're not easy to take down. So there's economic issues there. So, we do need to replant logically with trees that don't have the same risks. So the sooner you do that, the sooner you minimize flood risks and stream bank erosion. So I think
that
it's a
good
good thing
firewood?
what we're doing here.
It's very good fire.
Yeah.
Say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
Well, maybe the firewood angle is a good thing to have now. We should have a, if there are so many dead in Clove Valley, it's.
Yeah, and I think that they actually did stop the restrictions on the movement of firewood locally because it's just a lost cause.
Mm.
Oh, really?
So,
Oh,
yeah, they took the quarantine off in New York State a short while ago.
oh, okay.
Everyone have to look into that a little more to confirm,
Yeah,
but
okay.
it's not as big a deal moving firewood locally now as it
I
was
see.
because they've considered that the ash is borers pretty much everywhere. And
Okay.
it's not worth the economic damage
Mhm.
caused by
All right.
restricting it. So
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great. Well, it was a
that's pretty
great,
much it.
and thank you for coming with your adorable daughter. We got a lot of good pictures.
I saw.
You're on Facebook. Yeah, so if anybody wants to see, you can go back to November 5th on Facebook where it was posted and see all the hard work, everybody digging hard in the park. So thanks a lot.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks for your
you.
good work.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, next up, our Parks Department, Mr. Gosnell is in the house, yes?
Hey, guys.
Hello.
You doing, Jake?
So I've got some stuff. I mean, we'll touch on some other things a bit later in the meeting. I do want to reiterate what Betsy was saying about Brian Squirrelick thanking him for the trees, but also the hydro seeding. So he also did the edges of the road in the park. It looks really, really nice. Really super nice. And obviously Ed too, for, having his guys come through and widen the shoulder
that's
and
right.
and make it look really, really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, very
Beautiful,
good.
yeah, the highway guys, I forgot, I apologize. They did a wonderful job too.
So that's great.
Nice having them hang out here for a day or so.
Yeah. And then again, going back to the trees that were put in, that's really, really awesome. And we do have some plans. Tom went up last week and behind the playground in Godfrey Park, we know there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, with that moving forward. But we kind of cleaned up the fence line that's there and got that ready. And we're probably going to be putting somewhere between 15 and 25 shrubs along that fence line that kind of borders the back of the playground, and which is great. So that'll be nice
That's beautiful.
up there, kind of give us a buffer. And one exciting thing is the floors in the town hall up here are gonna get done,
Friday,
I
right?
believe Friday, yeah. So that'll be exciting for next week.
Good.
And then just a whole lot of rain and fall cleanups and trying to just get things ready for the winter. So things are looking good.
You guys have been working hard.
Oh, and we did a bunch more work with Perry on the new building for the recycle center. which is
I
great.
heard, now, he said he rattled off the dates and I don't remember what, like, I think the installation's going in and then it'll be, there's a couple more things you do.
Yeah, so we got the
Just in time.
yeah, myself and then Vincent a day after me. We got a bunch, all the framing done, the windows are framed out. And then he had, I know last week he had the electrician in to put, run wires. And then I believe it was sometime this week, it was getting spray foam, but I'm not 100% on that. And then once it actually gets put in place, we'll cut the holes for the windows, put the windows in. And then we'll get it sheet rocked. So
Great.
yeah,
Great.
it's good. It's moving right along.
Somebody told me they could put a bunk bed in there. They don't have to go home anymore.
Okay, those guys are-
But so it's moving right along.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right,
You got it.
recreation report would be next. You want to read that, Councilman Berlin? Thank you.
All right. Recreation. Last month, we held our second annual TGTT Halloween party on October 21st. Students K through 5 enjoyed getting dressed up in our costumes, making a Halloween themed snack, and many games and crafts throughout the day. We look forward to our next full day TGTT being held on November 23rd. Students can enjoy their day off at our Friendsgiving party and join in on the activities that remind us of what we're all thankful for. Registration is open until the end of business day on November 21st. And we have begun preparing for our annual Grand Illumination event taking place on Saturday, December 3rd from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Families can come enjoy a visit with Santa, holiday cheer, and witness our light display. Turn on for the first time for the season. This event is free for the residents and $5 per family for non-residents. Registration is open at unionvalerec.com.
Great. Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Welsh, would you like to read the constable report?
Certainly. Okay. Constable report for October. Constables patrolled approximately 684 miles of town roads, including all properties, filling the Explorer with 45.7 gallons of gasoline. The two town court dates, October 5th holiday, total 22 cases on the dockets with 10 actual appearances, and one case was dismissed for failure to prosecute. Officer failed to show for court. There were no issues to report. Constables reported the following patrols. On 10/26, they assisted Dutchess County Sheriff's Office upon request searching for a possible stolen vehicle in Waterbury Hill Road area until other DCSO units arrived. Respectfully submitted, George Treadwell.
Great, thank you. Councilman McGivney, do you want to read the animal control report for October?
Animal control report for October 2022. During the month of October 2022, there was one found dog, 2 wildlife calls. We passed our annual inspection by New York State Ag and Markets. Respectfully submitted, Mary Jean Calvi.
Great, thank you, sir. All right, now we're into old business. First up was a land use moratorium, which I think I covered. We will have our public hearing scheduled on Monday for December 21st. Playground at Godfrey Park, we have, and I didn't bring them out here. They could, if anybody's interested in looking at the photos, they can be put on this table, but we're having a resident meeting that I think is going to get scheduled tomorrow so that the residents that are on the committee for the playground committee can see that we've gotten 4 designs submitted from 4 different companies. So they're going to look at them and start to look at the pricing and look at the pros and cons of each age group. And then they're going to come, eventually, the goal is to come to the town board and make a recommendation, tell us what they want,
Good.
and we'll go from there. But it's moving forward in
And paid for with
November.
grant money.
And paid, yeah, with grant money and maybe even a little extra because we had some in that.
Yeah, I know we had money.
Yeah, a little money set aside. The North Clove turning onto Route 82 situation was one in which the Rettle family is donating that land. It's still in the works. Frank Rettle spoke with our attorney recently and said that, and last month he did tell me the same thing, but he assured the attorney today that it was going to happen before the end of the year. In the meantime, we have some designs from Dutchess County on how to make that left turn from North Clove onto Route 82 a little safer. So we're just going to work on that a little bit more, and we're going to consult the residents in the area. between now and the end of the year. And then that'll gear up a little bit more in the spring. All right, now, next up is a library update. Wondering if somebody from the trustees could come on up and have a seat and just give us a little update on what's happening. Hello, Mr. Ritter.
Hello. Well, we're creating a little buzz in the state because it's so unusual to start a new library. It's been decades since that's been done.
Congratulations to the town of Unionville, all of you, Betsy, for that really special achievement. The library committee, 7 of us have elected our officers and trustees, so we have our positions and our terms because it's we have to stagger it a little bit. We've been meeting regularly, focusing on creating bylaws, the job description for hiring a director, and other requirements for making an application for what eventually becomes a provisional library, which has a 5-year term. In order to get registered, they give you some time to work out all the details. The trustees are working very nicely as a team, 7 of us. We rounded skills and the personalities seem to get along very well. We met on November 1st. We met tonight for training with the with the Mid-Hudson Library System. The library system gives us some very good return on taxpayer dollars. $1 into the library system generates about 10-to-1 value to the community. In other words, you join the library system and we have access to, could be computers, could be tech. Tech would be computers. It could be software. It could be consultative services, etc. So that's also going to give us back what we want to give the residents, which is access to the libraries throughout the really the whole region, but throughout Dutchess County. The group that's doing the fundraising is, I guess I'd say it's independent group. I can't report on their activities. I'm sure Betsy might have something to say, but I don't quite know where they stand on fundraising. But presumably it'll all come together, and we'll continue to keep you apprised of the progress. Lastly, we have requested what they call a list of things. Libraries do a lot more than what you might think. Books is the conventional notion, but there's a library that lets out power washers.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, there are libraries that do bird watching kits, sign on a bird watching kit. So you can really think out of the box in how we can make this library special for Unionville. As we know, our town center is essentially this park. And so as we create a library in this town center area, we really can provide some really nice value add to the park, to the community at large, and to the lives of the residents. So all I really have to say, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I think we're good now.
Thanks for a very worthwhile update. Yeah.
Together.
Off to a great start.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good group. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Well, you mentioned, Mr. Gosnell, you mentioned the floor project, but do you want to give everybody just a quick update on the Long Barn? Another project from our capital projects list.
So I know that you guys had voted on it a while ago, the approval of the gutters on the Long Barn, and he came in last week and they look absolutely awesome. Nice big 6-inch commercial style gutter with a bunch of downspouts along, both sides to handle the amount of water that comes off that roof, which will keep the water away from the building and will, just preserve things, which is really, really nice. But no, he did a really, really great job.
Quickly too. I mean,
they were in and out. The guys were amazed.
So
That's wonderful.
yeah, and they do look good. But now you've got the new doors were put on a few months ago.
Yep.
So the green new doors, and you've got this.
So everything's nice and
down
white
there.
and bright.
Good.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah.
Great.
Sorry,
That's
I didn't
wonderful.
realize that the floors were in that section.
Oh, that's all right. I should have put them up in your report. Next time we'll do that. Thank you
Yep.
very much. Okay, so as far as new business goes, the meeting room updates, we just wanted to talk a little bit about that because this was another thing that was in this year's budget, but it took a little while to get here because the person we were working with hurt his back, and then there were some other things that came up. But what will happen with this is that we will have the hybrid program. But the board members, all the microphones are over there. The board members will all have wireless mics. And you won't have to have anything out in front of you as far as a computer anymore. So the good news is that we will have not only the wireless mics, but each one, or we could use one at a time of these monitors. We will be using Zoom all the time. So if we,
Could I suggest maybe we use an American company instead of Zoom,
well,
like Microsoft? I've used that with other meetings, organizations, and that's pretty good.
are you naming a company or,
Yeah,
oh, I thought you just said any American company.
well, any American company. I don't want to, but I prefer to use American.
Okay, so we can,
If possible.
yeah, we can talk about that and look
Okay.
into it, but whoever we're using. We
Yeah.
have our contract with Zoom until March.
Oh, we do.
So we have
Okay.
time to do some research if you
All right.
want to, yeah,
Okay.
bring some, that's fine. I don't think it matters to us because we just link in, but
Mhm.
the good news is that people sitting there can look at this screen or they can look at that screen. The podium will be over here with a, they'll have access to a laptop. So if a speaker comes, they can plug, I mean, use their USB port, thumb drive and just plug it in there. And then they can use a pointer or whatever and pull this one up. This is going to stay on the cart, this one over here. There are 4 cameras and the idea is to get Elfrida in every shot back here. We've got it aimed right at you. But look, the angles are nice because if somebody's speaking at the podium, we can now pick them up right there. So everybody will be
And
captured.
these cameras rotate, I believe, right?
They move a little. Yes, they do.
Who's running all the cameras, Andrew?
No. We have there's going to be a nice little board over there. It seems fancy, but it's a very simple with 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 cameras on it. And then when you move in and when you don't. So
Oh.
we have to get some help on it. We're going to have to get, Mike Miner is the fellow who's helping us and, he'll help us train somebody to do it, but we definitely would like somebody back there that could operate the buttons and move the right
Mhm.
cameras. So I think that would be great. He wants us to have a technician, so we'll see what we can come up with.
Okay.
But it's very exciting to have it and get rid of these computers and have that, echoing gone and we can't hear you unmute yourself, we'll be gone forever. All right, now as far as the town budget, let's go through a few things. I have some lists to give you all about things that changed since the last meeting. All right, we do this every year. We looked at the budget, but then anything that has changed. So a few things came up. One, we did bring in a new employee that meant that there was an additional participant in the health plan, which comes at, $18,000 a year for that participation. So there was that additional change. We also had in our assessor's office, there was one exemption that was removed. There was one exemption put on and one exemption that was removed. It didn't make a big difference, but as you noticed, I know we talked about this in the last when we went through the budget, maybe in the work session a month ago, but it did decrease our town taxable assessed value from 600 to 619 million. In 21, we were at 622 million. So, and that big one was, remember, we had a large one that dropped off, and then this month it's changed. But the reason that's important is when I submit the budget to officially submit the tax cap and the budget and all that to the state, that number is critical to have. So anyway, so that was a slight change. It didn't have a big effect. I put it into the budget. I did put it into this one, the final one, and it wasn't enough to move anything. But I'm going to read off for you like we do every time when there has been a change since you looked at it. Number one, we increased the interest revenue on our cumulative accounts, meaning highway and the general fund, because of the rate where the rates are now. They're so much higher. We initially in the preliminary budget had $16,000 in revenue, and we moved that up to 24,000. So the change is 8,000. Now in town buildings and electric, heating, fuel in town hall, I'll read them off separately. In the electric in town buildings, we went from 25 to 27. Heating, fuel in town hall, we went from 9 to 11.7. Heating, fuel in the park, we went we were up already, but when in the preliminary budget, but we feel like we need to bump it up a little bit more. So we went from 12 to 13,000. Town building supplies, we reduced that by 2,000 from 8,000 to 6. And working with Jake felt like he could handle that number. So And then there was a miscellaneous number we went, that was a little underspent this year and last. So we have a miscellaneous category for town buildings of 4,000, underspent this year and last year. So we dropped that down to 2,000. All right.
Okay.
So there's a net effect there of $1,695, but all those changes were made. In addition, we took away some equipment from the recreation, the budget for it for $1,500 for, we had 3,000 in the preliminary budget. We reduced it by 1,500 because I think,
Well, we just got the mower already this year, right?
yeah, this was for radios.
Oh, radio. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
different category. We were, that it's one of a large number. So you're
Yeah.
right to think of the mower, but this is where we tweak off things. Do you really need the radios? I don't think we need them next year, probably the year after. So we pulled $1,500 out.
Okay.
The workers' comp premium, this is good news. We had budget, we put 43,544 in the budget. And then, but we have a really good history with them. Everybody does the training. They came and inspected. We got a nice compliment from them about our parks and our highway and our town hall, the highway garage, everything. So that really adds up because this guy writes a report and they dropped our premium, $2,262. So
Oh.
all that stuff that we do with the training and
Paid
the,
off.
yeah, pays off. Highway personnel, the cost went down $1,622 just because of a change in personnel. The Highway Capital Reserve Fund, I brought that down from, we want 25. But because of because of the insurance costs and all that, I took 5 away. So we're down to 20. But then, Ed, with the FEMA money and other things coming in the year, if we have enough money left over, we can make it up. Is the way I'm thinking about it. The board, we'll talk about that in the first quarter. Highway shop supplies, we went because that was underspent this year. That was what I went from 12,000 down to 10. Another thing we can make up if we need to. But all of that with the new employee coming on and the older employee leaving, highway FICA went down $124, but every bit helps. And then finally, the highway health insurance increased $18,813. So you'll see a change in which I'll review now, there was a change in the net, the highway is a little bit higher than the general fund. So we took a few things as I've listed away from the general fund. So we're still going to be at the same 1.9% increase.
Okay.
So even with all the increases in all the, in all of the fuel, mostly fuel oriented and energy. So our projected revenues are 1.5 million. Of which 1.3 million is in the general fund and $198,000 is going to be in the highway fund. And our projected general fund revenues are greater than the general fund tax levy. So we tax the residents, but we don't live off of just that. We also have a great deal of money coming, a little more coming in from our revenue. So I just want to remind everybody that if you support the recycling center, if you report the recreation department and get dog licenses and come to events and pay the $5 or whatever it is, it all goes, it comes back to help all the taxpayers. We got an increase in state money, the CHIPS this year, which caused the revenue to go a little higher in the highway fund. From capital projects, you've heard Jake Gosnell talk tonight about a few of the things that we bought, but I'm going to remind everybody that we put 1,668,000 aside early in the year for capital projects and emergencies, including the remaining funds from the American Rescue Plan, which is 467,000. These funds have been put aside to enable us to complete future work on the Furnace Pond Dam. I still have not heard back from them about that boring test in Timor Park, and the barn renovation for the library roof and other projects that we vote on throughout the year. So that we'll continue to watch that. Now, as far as we had some wonderful positive revenue results in 2022. So our interest obviously went way up with inflation, everything else. You know, the Federal Reserve keeps raising rates by 75 basis points, and they're talking about, so that's why we're estimating that our interest will be up a little bit more. Summer camp was up 132% versus last year. Facility rentals, 213%. Concessions did well, 136% increase. Pool fees, 155% increase. And building permits, 112%. They were up. So the only loss we had that really we covered up right away was we kept having to put repairs on a truck that was lousy in the parks.
Yeah,
That diesel, what was that old truck that was diesel that
yeah.
Ford told us we didn't drive it enough to have a diesel. So anyway, we sold it at auction and made $38,000 on it. Great deal.
Yeah,
And the board, congratulations to you guys, because you told them to hold out for more. And you remember, I remember he said, no, go back. And he got 38,000, which was nice. And so that covered up the issue that we had. And the only pool contractual expense that was over on our line was 17% over, and that was due to the increase in the price of chlorine. So as far as this year goes, our health insurance premiums were up only 5.4 after getting a letter from them in May saying they were going up 11. But the total cost of the town is up 14%. And that varies year over year, depending on who comes in and who goes out. So, that's just, so, but this year it went up a little bit more because of that. Year-round employee wages were up by 3%. No elected officials received increases. We had merit raises, and we have some people, we brought them up to a market rate. They were so far behind. Constables is one category. So all I would say is that we have, and this is on the preliminary is on the town website, and this one will go on the town website in the morning because we're sending this copy over to the county as well. But what you see here is the 7 cents increase for the town taxes. This is the general fund and the highway fund, a 7 cents per thousand increase, which ends up being a $36,792 total increase for the town for both general and highway, which is given the, we had to do a lot of shuffling around, but given the amount of energy costs we have this year, to get 1.9% increase to get an additional 36,792 will enable us to cover those costs. Because, we have Central Hudson their billing has been so bad for the town. We haven't paid them most of the year.
yeah, I see we got them all at once.
They're all, yes. And and one of the reasons we didn't pay them is because none of their numbers added up. So we kept calling them. They didn't return the call. So then finally yesterday we got them and said, hey, you haven't been paid in months and months and months, but we're not paying these numbers. And they said, oh my gosh, none of our bills came to us with the top page printed on it.
Oh, gosh.
So they've had such trouble this year. So we're having a call with them, and then I'm going to have our municipal contact send all of I've got the last 3, and I want to compare how much we're spending, but everybody's has gone up. So anyway, we're having a little trouble, but we did raise taxes by $36,792. First time in many years.
Yeah.
And other than those changes and the assessed value change and the things that I just reviewed, the library expenditures, we increased to $112,500. It'll go into a full operating budget next year. They're never going to be fully operational this year because they're still writing bylaw, or in 2023. It's going to take a while. And then energy expenses increased by 60% this year is what we had to, because we just don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so our biggest worries are inflation and energy and supply issues, just like everybody else. So we're going to keep a tight lid on things. We do have this exciting new service coming to the residents with the library, with a lot of wonderful people running it. So I think we're good. I didn't mention that we did take our engineering fees down because we haven't been able to do the test. We have the money in the budget for the boring test this coming year. But beyond that, the rest of the Timor Park Dam expenses were already in the fund balance. We've got them earmarked in fund balance.
Right.
Okay, or in the capital projects fund now. All right, so those are all of our changes. You see there's copies there, what we're raising. The total tax levy is $1,927,809. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? Any of you? Okay. All right, so next up on new business, we have the moratorium. I think we've covered that. We're gonna have a public hearing and people will hear all the details. They can read the details next week. Next week, all the details will be on the website, meaning the actual red line code.
Yeah.
So everybody can read that next week, and then we'll have the public hearing in the next board meeting. The last thing I wanted to talk to the board members about so we want to set up more reserve accounts as we get lucky sometimes with extra sales tax money or extra this or that. So rather than just stick it in the general fund and go through it, but since we do, the managers are very good with their budgets.
Yeah.
And people are good here about not overspending. I think that if we set up some more reserve accounts, the highway has a reserve account. we need a parks reserve account. And we wanted to set up one for equipment and then for repairs. You know, we were lucky that we have a nice fund balance, but you know, the pool tank, the water filter tank,
Yeah, I know.
things that's a $30,000 ticket.
Right. I see we paid half already.
Yeah, so it would be nice to set up these reserve accounts, and whenever we get a little bit extra, like Ed got this great return from FEMA. So he's going to use part of it probably, and then if he wants to put the other part he doesn't feel he can use, we can, you know, put that in the reserve fund for the highway. And then other monies we can put in the general fund. So I'm going to bring those documents to show you guys, and then we'll figure out. It's really for the expensive stuff, equipment and repairs. If you could think of another reserve account you think we need, you know, we could set them all up at one time and we don't have to fund them at any particular rate. But, all right, so that can be in next month.
Good. Good idea.
We've done well with the highway one. We've got $141,000 in the highway reserve that we just started maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but that, you know, that's a big help when we have to go out and make a big purchase, but we don't need to for a while because of
Nice, Ed,
those,
we got those good deals on.
those
truck.
Oshkosh trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still need to pick up.
Yeah, you still need to pick up. You have the money for a pickup.
Should
we
we
have to-
order one?
we have to
It takes
find
a while
one.
to get them.
We tried. They denied the second one. which
Oh, I
was
know,
two.
but I think things are getting better. Maybe we should
Can we go back
put out a bid for another one now.
or you want a used one?
Of course you.
No, I don't. No.
You better off with a new one.
You have
With
you have
the
to
state
pick
bid
which,
price.
you do well with news. Those trucks were used. Those were quite good.
When's the pumps, new truck, schedule?
I think it should be in November, I thought.
It's being built next week. Next week, it's still built.
How long does it take to build a truck? Couple weeks?
Yeah, but, yeah, once they get the,
Yeah.
yeah, they don't schedule it till they have it all, so,
Oh, good. Okay.
Transportation.
yeah.
Getting it here?
But seriously, I wonder if we should place out a bid for a new highway pickup truck.
Well, you know, they stopped taking bids because they said they sold everything out, but now that maybe the window's open
Yeah,
again.
they're making 23 models.
You might not get it till next September. You guys need it sooner, don't you?
Well, the sooner you-
Give them a utility truck, which leaves us with no pit.
For the snow.
So I think we gotta put a bid in right away.
Well, you had one approved. It just didn't happen,
Yeah, so we
so,
have to just reapply.
okay, so we can check on those and see if they're taking orders and then maybe, yeah, we can do that tomorrow. We'll get some help from your friend over there.
Sure.
All right, we'll start taking a look at that. If you guys see any good for sale signs on trucks, let us know.
Actually, we're much better off buying a new one. With the bid price, the state bid price, or sometimes we even get it for less if we bid it out.
Good.
One year we got a very good price. It was much lower than the state bid because we shopped around the whole state. We had a guy way up north somewhere. Came in with a very low price.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Good, all right. Oh, actually, you know, one of our residents, Mary Ann DeLeese, is coming in a couple of days a week to help us get caught up on, we haven't had, we're probably down 2 people, but anyway, so, I mean, she worked in a town for 25 years before she retired, so
Oh, good.
she was telling me about the expedited bid process that they used at a very large town in Westchester, and they got offers from all over the state.
Yeah, sometimes
On
you get
almost
very good
anything.
deals.
Yes, so she might be able to help us do that tomorrow.
Mhm.
All right, I'll ask Mary Ann. Great idea. Okay. And with that, I don't have any other new business. Does anybody else have any other new business? Okay, so we're up to resolutions. And we don't have,
Resolution to adopt the budget for 23.
yeah, you're making that resolution?
I'll make that resolution.
All right, is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, okay, motion carries. We'll submit that budget to the county tomorrow morning.
Great.
Now we don't have any transfers. We have a list, you know, we're looking at, and I like to wait towards the end. There's a few, if there's any lines that are over that we need to transfer for, we're going to do that at the next month, at
Mhm,
the
yeah.
December meeting.
Okay.
That's worked nicely for us because, we, you know, as the year goes on, you get a lot more information. Public comments on town issues? You want to come up? Not yet, not yet. Yes, ma'am. Now I don't know, we're on YouTube. This will be moved.
Yeah, the playback we can do, maybe with the new setup, I think we can do it again. I'm not really sure, I didn't know if we can confirm. Can I be like, committee of one to both of these people? Committee of one to be to talk with these people from Cable Vision or whatever they call them. Oh.
I don't know. What is it getting this meeting on there?
The program, what's the time you call it, last meeting, I can't remember the time, the show. Originally, this was supposed to be on channel 22, so people could watch from home,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing on.
I don't think,
Sketchy and
oh, really?
there was a.
Doesn't it?
schedule.
It's a post, the way that it's set up right now, it's supposed to play the slideshow for 30 minutes and then go to the town board meeting until completion and then go back to the slideshow. But I could check it out. But maybe because we've had all this going on. it's not working.
It is,
But then you went to Zoom so people could call in from home.
yeah, initially we went to Zoom right away in that March of 21 because, or
COVID.
20 because of COVID. Nobody was in the same room together. But it's a good, yeah, but you can go to YouTube and watch it live.
Well, you know, bad weather's coming for us outdoors, and I'm not gonna make no bill.
That's never stopped you before. Well, and we'll see you on here. You can be on TV or you'll watch if you come here and you'll be able to watch from home. You just want to hear it.
We have channel 42 registered to us, and we should be using it.
It's not, we are using, but it's not live. So you can watch it the next day. Andrea takes this and she posts it on there a day or two after the board meeting.
Well, there's a job then for somebody to televise live, like we used to 20, 30 years ago. How long ago? I don't think that.
All right.
Mid-90s,
Yeah.
25 years.
I don't know if they do that anymore. I don't know. We'll check on it though.
No, except for money, hire somebody from town, not from outside, but from town,
Mhm.
county, to do this.
I don't, yeah, I think that's what these cameras are for. It'll be okay. You wait and see how it works.
I'll watch and I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right, great. All right. At this point,
Comment on speed on town roads. I know that's been a discussion in some past meetings. I know thanks to Ed, about a year or so ago, they put a nice new mile-per-hour speed limit sign on my road. Didn't change the speed limit, just put the sign there. I think I've seen new signs elsewhere. I can't phrase it as anything other than a question.
Oh, yeah.
What are we doing to enforce? It's a question.
pardon?
It's a question. What are we doing to enforce? Are we putting new signs up or what are we? My understanding, and I think it needs to go to the legal to find out for sure, is that the state regulates the speed limits. So the state has to come in and actually do a road study of the road before we can legally change the speed limit.
What road are you talking about?
So,
Is there a particular road?
it's speed on town roads.
Which road?
About a year or so ago, there was no speed limit sign on my road, Rumor Road.
That means 55, right?
And it was nice enough to kind of put it there. He didn't
What is
change
it?
But he didn't change it.
What's the speed limit?
Sure. There was a speed limit sign on one end of the road going this way, there was no speed limit sign going this way, so he didn't change it. He just put it aside. Right?
Posted, yeah.
And I know I've heard discussions about speeding on town roads in past meetings. So my question was, are we doing anything about it other than putting up signs? That was as far as enforcement. It's my understanding that unless the state comes in, does their road study.
You're not talking about changing the speed. You're talking about enforcing the speed. So what happens with that? What happens?
Say, example, I put 15 mile an hour sign out there.
Nobody honors
It
it.
can't be enforced. Because state didn't mandate that to be 15 miles an hour, I just put a sign up. It's nothing. I'm assuming the 30 mile an hour speed limit that's on my road has been. was dictated by the state or something. You'd have to go back to looking at history of that road.
But I don't, but Ed, I think he's talking about enforcing the actual
I
30.
understand that.
No, but no, he's talking about people writing tickets. I mean, I think,
And to be honest,
yeah,
They're saying they can unless the state has established that that's the speed limit.
but let's just assume it's a speed limit. We haven't had much. We'll assume it is the speed limit because it's a normal speed limit for a road like yours. But I think one of the problems, if you've listened to these constable reports every month, is we do have state troopers that hide, and we do have state troopers that are, and we're going to have the board is going to have a session about this in January with our constables. They do write tickets, and then they're not showing up for court. So they're trying to enforce the speed, the ones that they know are, legal. I'm not talking about the illegal stuff that Ed is referring to, and they're not showing up for court. And we think there's an issue there, and the troopers are not showing up. And so when you can hear it in the report, so many cases got dismissed because nobody showed. It's hurting our effort to enforce it. So we are trying to look into why that is happening. And we're making some changes in the court. It kind of dovetails into some of the other things I said last time, and trying to beef that up. And we're going to talk to the constables and have a session about how we can change that, because it's not on Bloomer's a nice long road, but it's happening all over.
yeah, that's kind of what I think what I hear you saying is the constables don't have a role.
They don't write moving vehicle tickets.
Only parking.
And to be honest.
Parking,
with you,
yes.
Sometimes I wouldn't even notice it, except it's a couple of kids in an ATV, they're making so much noise, you can't not notice.
Oh, yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
So it's not just normal licensed vehicles. It's nothing, right? So it might not only be kids, but I'm talking there's no license. So even if,
Well, that's
I
it.
wouldn't even notice it unless it was,
If they don't have a license, you can call the sheriff's office.
so it's a sheriff's.
Well, there's either one. I mean, they kind of just, either the state trooper or the sheriff, either one, whoever's available.
And then obviously. So you're giving me the answer to that, but I thought you.
Okay, yeah, but do call them, because for things like that, that's dangerous. And if they don't have a license on there, that's illegal. And they'll write a ticket in a second. If you can, they can catch it. In the park, they do get caught. Not all the time, but they do get caught. Yes, ma'am.
Backing up what Glenn was saying, I believe, on Highview, particularly in the last week or so, been a big change. Daily, at some point in time, 10:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night, somebody's burning rubber, putting traps right down on the road. Right in front of the curb, the blind curb. I've gone out to try to see who it is. All I know is it's a big pickup truck, dark one.
Oh, really?
So many dark pickup trucks travel Highview. But I just remember before, when I was working and walking my dog at 5:30 in the morning, one time I was hit. Just the amount of speed that will come by. Now, most people, when they see me, I can stop my dog, pull over to the side, hold my dog, make sure that it's not, he can jump. And, for the most part, there's a lot of waves and okay, and I give them the right way and stuff. But this is like on a road where there's children, there's animals, there's cars. And you can see just the black tire marks. And there's like 3 sets of them, like 3 consecutive.
They're all over town.
Yeah, tell them, John.
All over town. I don't know who does it, but if you drive around town, you'll see them all over the place. There's some fresh ones out here right on Broadskill by the entrance to Highland Park
Oh my God.
within the last week.
Travel up Chestnut Ridge Road on the higher end of Highview. Going down by Walls Corners. What used to be a very quiet neighborhood. This is going on a lot.
It does happen.
particularly
I don't know. How much damage does that do to a tire? That just, who would be so foolish as to do that to their own tires
You
in
must
this?
get free tires because the tires are expensive and they don't last long doing that.
Yeah, it's probably a resident who works at a tire store. We should find out. It is bad all over town and it just seems, if not to ever do anything dangerous, but if the constables see them or if they witness that, then they can write them up. And if you take a picture or if anybody ever sees anybody, you can report them. They work really well with photos, but if it's not seen, all they're doing is hurting themselves, other than being annoying and dangerous for those walking dogs. It's a shame, but there have been instances, and these were in court. I have heard of several cases in court where kids, in this instance, they were kids that got caught and ended up in, I don't know what happened to them, but they definitely can get caught from time to time and get right in front of the judge and something will happen to them.
So I have an idea. Some time ago, there was discussion about what I refer to as trail cams being put in places to identify other things.
Mhm.
Is that an option?
We do use those. We have them up now.
for speed?
Well, we have a trail cam up, whatever they catch.
Yeah.
It's for all of the above.
Littering, speeding.
They're not gonna tell speed, though, they'll just take a picture of it.
The only thing that would be good for if somebody's squealing like that and they can see it on the
Yeah.
camera.
School buses all have cameras too.
In my case, in some cases, I wouldn't know, it's the fact that it's these AGVs that are, there's more noise than sometimes there is speed. And I think I just,
Yeah, we live right near each other, and it's true, and I guess a trail cam would do that, because it doesn't catch speed, but ATV on a main road is illegal, so.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that.
Color
is-
restriction,
yeah.
you know, what it
I think
is. but
we get a lot of ATVs, so
Yeah.
that's definitely,
Just,
no license. Just-
Unbelievable.
yeah, they're not supposed to be on the road.
Could I make a motion, we pay the bills?
Yes, anybody in favor of paying the bills? Thank you. All right, is there a second? All right, all in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
Aye, all right, we'll get that done tomorrow. Did everybody sign all the vouchers?
I believe so.
Okay, so have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
All right, all in favor? Say aye, okay. Thank you, everybody. Jake, thank you. See you tomorrow. Thanks for everything.
What, yeah, guy went over it. It's up to the.
Hey, Kevin, this is for your file for reference.
So they finally patched the road. All those holes are fixed. So I assume they.
Guys, we got to sign these.
I would think by the end of the year, they'll fix the
Yeah.
guardrail. But you know, they have to wait for insurance from, money from the guy that did it.
Okay. Please sign vouchers. We can pay those bills. Yeah.
Andrew, you got 1 second?
Okay, let's see.
I'm having
And
trouble.
good night, everybody. And